Welcome back everyone, thanks for tuning in again, and today I have the Hasbro Star Wars The Black Series Speeder Bike with Biker Scout set. So when this first was announced and actually being released into the stores, I just wasn't too keen on adding it to my collection. I was very wary about how the Black Series was going to utilize vehicles, creatures, other accessories and whatnot to go with the actual characters in the Star Wars universe. But after constantly seeing the photos and reviews and actually seeing this in person, I ended up trading something else for this and receiving it and loving it. I always loved the speeder bike and the speeder bike scouts, but as far as like an action figure and being in a collectible set, I just wasn't too sure how I was going to like it. But overall, I love it. I'm very happy I have it. And without further ado, let's get right into the review. Before I start on the figure itself, I'll go over the packaging like I always do. So they did utilize the blue stripe on the packaging like we've been seeing lately. At the bottom it just says Speeder Bike with Biker Scout in blue as well. And it's the very large window box display. And it does have at the top here just a slight more cardboard up there. In the packaging, if you can see the outline, the bike is right here, the Scout actually resting right there, and then the plastic stand is right at the bottom. Turning it around, it's basically just a giant 6-inch box essentially, because they have to fit the speeder bike itself. So let me zoom in on there, so if you would like to read that. And then of course, as always, they include a quote, this quote being, "Call for help, go." I know the Scouts didn't really say too much in the series, but kind of wish they had a different quote placed on the packaging. And as you can see, the silhouette like art in the back. So as far as this review itself, I'm not gonna do too much with it, simply because it is a very big pain in the ass to get the Scout to sit on the speeder bike. The holders, or like I guess the pegs for the legs or the feet, whatever you want to call them, I'm blanking out what this section is called, but they're just very loose and very weak attached to the overall bike. So it's a very difficult task trying to get it, not only the pegs fitting into the feet, but also getting him situated into the position that you want him in, or in that case the way I want him in. So we'll do a little, and see, just like that, as I mentioned it. So if you can kind of see it, it is kind of popped out, and if you can see the peg right there, it's just very hard to get in. He does have 2 peg holes on each feet, one on the heel and one on the toe. Not quite sure if they're doing it on purpose for stands or what, or if you want to kind of pose him like that, but it is kind of hard to get the pegs in his heels, so not quite sure why they have both of them. I haven't actually checked the other figures either, whether they all have the 2 peg holes, but overall it's a very clean design of the Biker Scout, or the bike itself. And this is actually my biggest thing. I am not a fan of this stand at all. It's just one plastic tripod style piece, and then the ball joint in here, but it's very limited on the way you pose. It does look like it can turn easily, but if you actually look at it and feel it, if I can get that on camera, it is bending right here at the edge, because it's not really meant to twist and turn unless you actually pop it in the position you want. And that's also the difficult thing. I can't really get him to stand like this as he's portrayed, because he either just falls back or the tripod falls back, because it is just a weak stand. So that's why I kind of have him in the forward lurching angle position, which isn't bad. I still like it. It's still a good pose, but just not what I expected to pose him as, in regards to the description or the prototypes and whatnot. Getting a zoom in on Scout himself, I didn't have any issues with mine, but I know a lot of people were complaining that the packaging was bending, the visor here and the actual vision area, the goggles or the eye plate was a little off or crooked, or some were even missing. Mine, I guess I got lucky, mine was in good shape, and as you can see, it's very accurate to the film Scouts. It is kind of awkward, I think, that they only made the feet dirty and not the rest of him. I mean, he has a few little spots on his chest up here, but you know, it's just kind of awkward how they did the overall painting and design of getting him dirty. And then just a quick, you know, few articulation points. You can see his blaster in his hand. It only comes with one blaster, which is fine, I guess. You know, I do wish they had a holster for it. The head, you know, twist, turn, get in the different positions. The shoulder, double jointed elbow, the wrist, and also at the legs, the thighs and double jointed knees, as well as the feet. So it's basically the standard 6-inch Black Series figure like the rest of the line. Getting in some detail and articulation on the actual Biker Scout, the bike itself, the only articulation is these vents in the back, which I guess this is the only damage I have to mine, or lemon if you want to call it. But the left vent works fine, you know, it moves up and down just perfectly. The one on the right, however, I don't know if it broke off or it's not connected, but it won't sit down the same way, if you can see that in the video. And you know, you can't really, it just feels like a piece of rubber that isn't supposed to move, but it's not, you know, doesn't have the ease as the other one. So you know, it's no big deal. I kind of try to leave them in the same position, but overall not a big downside to it. And then just turning it around here, you can see, you know, he has the controls here, the handles. He has a few scuff marks here and there, which I think those are kind of also awkwardly painted. I don't really see why, you know, it just looks like a poor brush technique on that, as well as in the front here. I don't know, just maybe they just went with a silver brush over it or scratched it off, but you know, overall I do love this piece, even though with a few negative sides to it. I would say of all the Black Series figures, the Scout itself is one of the best figures, and then just the whole set is very, you know, it's a very good set to have. And for those of, you know, the Empire fans, just any Star Wars fan, I highly recommend this, and highly recommend collectors to add this to their collection. So thank you everyone, you know, just a quick little overview of this figure this time, but stay tuned for the next video. Make sure to subscribe and follow me, and we'll be back soon. Thank you very much.